Hey, good afternoon, Morgan.
Hi, Mr. O'Brien. Nice to meet you.
You can just call me Mark. It's really nice to meet you too.
Hi, Mark.
So I'm glad you came to us to get some support with your job search. I was looking at your resume, and you have a lot of strengths in here. I really think we can probably help you out. I see you went to
Great.
NYU. Yeah,
hmm
yeah, no problem. You have good educational experience. I saw some good work experience in your resume. You've been in different office settings. But I did also notice just a little bit of a gap in your employment for several years. And I know that can be a little bit of a red flag for some of the employers we work with. So I was just hoping maybe you could tell me a little bit about
Sure. First of all, I just want to say I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me. It's really hard to find work uh,
that. Yeah,
lately, but
pretty rough.
especially with a gap in my resume. But I I did go to NYU, and then after that, for a couple of years, my boyfriend and I, who he's now my husband, were we struggled with substance use disorder, and that kind of took me out of the workforce for a couple of years. Um, we had a pretty tumultuous time, and then actually we were arrested, and he went to prison, and that's really when I went to treatment and kind of got healthier and started to turn my life around and recover. So yeah, that's really why I wasn't working for a couple of years.
Wow. Yeah, that's it's a tough story, and I appreciate your sharing it with me. I know I'll never fully understand what that must have been like for you, but I had a cousin who was an addict, and she was hooked on pills, and really struggled for several years. She would like steal from us, and I mean, but she
Um,
lost her daughter. She lost her daughter before she ever got clean. And I know now she just looks back on that with so much regret. And but we're happy to have her back. She's like normal again and everything.
yeah, that must have been really painful for her.
Yeah, I think it definitely was, and I didn't mean to get us sidetracked. This conversation is about you, and what we can do to help you with your employment needs. Another thing we'll have to know is just during that time, did you have any encounters with the criminal justice system that resulted in a criminal record of any kind?
Um, so yes, unfortunately I did. Um, so when my
Any
boyfriend,
felonies? Any
what?
felonies? Any felonies? I mean, the misdemeanors usually not a big deal. Are you a felon?
Um,
Ex-felon, or whatever it is.
so unfortunately felonies don't just kind of go away. Felonies are forever. But it I do have a felony conviction on my record. And, stemming from the incident I was kind of referring to before when my boyfriend got incarcerated. And, it was kind of a public arrest. I was pregnant at the time, and it was in the newspaper a lot. There was a lot of media coverage. So I'm a little bit concerned about, the background check, but also, if an employer, you were thinking of sending me to my Google, or look me up or anything like that. Do you think it'll be a problem?
I mean, we do have some employers that we work with that are willing to look past that and give people a second chance, which I personally think is really important. Um, I think some of them will see strength in your story of what you've overcome. I can't imagine that it was easy having your life broadcast like that, and I'm guessing like your daughter was born addicted to drugs. That must have been difficult for everybody involved. Um, so, and I just say that to say that I feel for what you've been through, and I do want to help you. I think, I have a few employers in mind. Do you have like scheduling um, issues, just so I can kind of like narrow down in my mind maybe where would be helpful to reach out to for you.
Sure. So, ideally, I'm looking for, a permanent full-time position that I can be at for a long time. Something with, PTO and help. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Am I interrupting or?
No. Sorry. I just,
Okay.
nothing.
Okay. PTO and health insurance would be great. But also, I do have a daughter and, school drop off and school pickup. So maybe something that's a little bit flexible would be good.
Yeah,
You know,
that's helpful. It didn't even occur to me because I know like a lot of you wind up with your kids, in foster care. So it didn't even, of course you're a mom. So um, we'll figure out like with the schedule. I do have a place in mind, as a matter of fact, that
oh,
has,
great.
it's a warehouse. So I'm guessing you don't have your forklift license yet, but there's warehouse work. You could start from the bottom up, but they have shifts all around the clock. This guy that owns the place, actually, he's a felon too. Was an addict, is now doing much better and owns his business, and has really made it a point to hire people who have struggled with some of those issues. So I think he'll be really understanding. And it is a place where you could start rebuilding.
Um, so that sounds um, promising. But are there any positions more like in the office of the warehouse? I went to NYU and I have my degree and I'm really good with like computers and typing and writing.
Yeah, I mean, I think after some of the stuff you've done, you're probably like, you maybe have to just think about like starting, you know, a little bit lower on the food chain and working your way up. Um, I don't mean to sound. I'm just thinking about how like some of the employers think about it. Um, but I mean, you can have that discussion with him, obviously, and let him know that you have that skill set. But it also just, I'd encourage you to just think about like how you can get started. I mean, you're obviously like, you're a nice girl, but there are some things in the past that are going to be concerning for an employer. And I want to help you out. So, I don't want to like argue with you about like where you should start out, but like if you
Oh
like
no, I'm
my
not
job,
trying to argue with you.
no, I
Um,
get that. I'm just saying like, let me do my job, get you in the door, and then we'll go from there. This guy, like I said, he's terrific. He will look past everything in your background to give you a second chance. And the only thing is like there's a lot of machinery on site. So the one thing is he requires a clean drug test before he can get you started. So we'll sorry about that. We'll
is someone, I'm sorry.
oh no, she just left. It was my
Oh,
wife. We share an office.
I'm sorry. I thought this was a private conversation. I
Oh, I don't
said
think she
some
was listening.
personal
She's,
thing.
she's doing her own work. I don't think she was listening. But she's always in here when I'm working, and she doesn't care. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, so once we get the drug test back, I think he'll be ready to go. And you said you've been clean for years, so I think we should be good to go.
Yep. So I have not uh misused opioids or anything since I got into recovery. I've been abstinent from my drug of choice for uh about 8 years now. But uh I do take medications to treat
Medicine, it's no big deal. I don't even think that medicines will show up on
um
the drug test.
well, this one will. I take have you heard of methadone? Like methadone treatment to treat opioid addiction?
Yeah, I mean, of course I have, but I thought you said you were clean already.
um well, yes, I am in recovery. And me taking methadone. It's a medication. Like, that doesn't mean I'm not in recovery. I don't misuse it. You know, my doctor, I take it from a medical provider. I take it as prescribed, but it will show up in a drug test. So I just kind of wanted to give you a heads up about that.
Well, yeah, I appreciate the heads up, and I get what you're saying. I mean, I think when most people think of clean, they mean like, you know, not using any drugs. But
I mean, it's not like a drug, it's like a medicine.
yeah, I got you. I'm just trying to be realistic, and this guy's trying to run a business. But I'll give him a heads up, and let's see what we can do.
Sounds great.
All right, I'll have our assistant send over an appointment, and we'll get the interview set up if he's still open to it with the what's it called, methadone.
I mean, it's like legally, sorry to cut you off. It's legally protected. Like, I can't be discriminated against for taking it, but
I don't know if you want to go into an employer like telling them you're going to sue them, from the get-go, but I got you. And it's good to know. But anyway, yeah, it's been nice talking to you. Great to meet you. And let's see what we can do.
Sounds great.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yep, bye.
Bye, Morgan.